So the offer, or, well, whatever I've said before, should always stand, and it should exist in the description as well. But if you're a modder with any content in this game and you want one of my videos and or streams taken down because you don't want to be showcased or something like that, please let me know, you know, within reason. But obviously, reason should be on people's side when things like this come up. Basically, any normal request, I'll be happy to take down my own videos. But as we get into Herald World of War character exclusive custom character, I think I have the idea of my mystery fully fleshed out and actually on the table. I usually set up templates here and there just so I can get things done faster. Second mystery, knowledge, dexterity, toxicon, strength, and light source check. So maybe I'll do that, but I still have yet to, you know, put out there things that I should have put out there earlier. So, as we get into this run, I don't know how much future Jordan or current me is going to censor, but it's definitely going to be more than a few. Usually I kind of glean through things, but I do still want to, you know, after the time I put in this channel, as I see Ward, Scissors, Botanist, Recluse, and, well, we're going to replace that with Date, I think it's better to narrate through things because, again, I've always used this, not example, but what should I say? Now I forgot what I was going to say because I had so much in my mind. Or whatever, moving on. You know, Cursed Scissors would be nice. If I remember, I remember. If I don't, well, I feel sad because normally I have all these, well, when I branch off into tangents, I don't have things planned out. So it's literally, you're getting stream of consciousness commentary 95% of the time, and 2.5% of the time, I've prepared something that I want to say because I do want to talk about certain things, and the other 2.5% is just, again, hey, it's a good thing to talk about. If you want how I think about videos. Boy, though, will this not help me get any closer. I can go for 90-90. Will that help me at all? I need to hit 90% 4 times. So, it's near a coin flip, closer to 66%. We get bonus damage, so actually, we get to do this. But, after a certain point, I am going to go for the Cursed Scissors here. Knowing that we also have Recluse, we should have more than enough Doom to spare. Now, the question if I'll make it out with enough HP to even make it to the end here is questionable, but we will be taking Date, which is the showcased mystery for this video, somewhere in the middle. Not that I'm planning to fight a boss, but if I do this right and I remember this right, I should be okay. So, I'm actually recording this a lot earlier than I am expecting to, so, well, I am a bit tired. Meanwhile, as we fight the horror scissor woman right here, and I don't think I can really brace into anything significant. I would like to just take, because if I can do this, I should be able to get out in 3 turns. 12, 18, 14. I don't know how much the straight razor does on a throw, though. I do want to go for this. Do I get to go for this? I need to hit this, though, because I don't know how much the straight razor does. I could just end up dying. In that case, I'll just do another run. But gambling on pretty much a 66% chance. And if the scissor woman raises her scissors, we're in a bit of trouble. But I'm going to have to go for it because I need the damage. And there are the raised scissors, so we can't actually do anything this turn. Hopefully she doesn't raise her scissors again. That would be really bad luck. But then we could do this and we should be fine. So, without further ado, I don't even know how much the straight razor does when thrown. I guess I'm going to find out now. I can save this for later, but I'm just curious. Okay, 1 damage. It wasn't enough. We needed at least 2, which is the whole reason why I did the double attack turn that was at risk. We're very hurt, but we should be relatively okay. Restless bonus guaranteed. No bath, though. Well, guess I'm going to have to rest. But starting with the weapon, as we kind of review if you weren't here for the review, essentially, this character starts with the weapon, and any character that starts with the weapon is okay in my book. Now, there is a sliding scale of, you know, how how much disadvantages a character may or may not have. And I do need to take Recluse at some point. Maybe Date will actually be the last one. Huh. Alright, we'll find out. I do need to visit the police station as well. Yeah, I just tossed out everything I was going to talk about because I need to do this. Is downtown the one I want to do? Yeah. So, not really a spoiler, but I have already played Date a few times. So therefore, that's how I know how to do what I am planning to do. But boy, would it be much easier if I could survive the run at all. I don't think I can get through this mystery without resting. So we're going to rest. I'm actually going to rest a whole bunch because we have Recluse. And now we have a shorter ward, so hopefully things go well. If you do date correctly, you should not be fighting anything, is what I'm trying to say. Aside from regular events that you run into, such as this, but hey. Can I even go for prep attack? Not close, actually. I need 3 more knowledge, which is quite a lot. So here comes our pseudo katana play. You know what? A thingamajiggy would be nice. I also need to remember in Recluse not to use the stuffed doll for the purpose that I was planning to. Nice luck check, by the way. I really like when your stats matter in this game, and by that, I mean they don't. I really like when your stats don't matter in this game, and by that, I mean they don't. I have to repeat that because of what I just ran into. I could go for this, and I think I will. 85%. I'm taking a lot of risk this run, but you gotta. Especially if the risk doesn't involve you dying, then I suppose it's a lot better. But we'll take strength because a frostbite will immediately kill me. Ah, my face! Nice. It's great that I have to... At the same time, having low stats at least makes me feel better in terms of rolling high, because then I really don't need to care. And then I do that. I could just die to stamina right now. Let's find out, shall we? As long as I don't take choices that result in stamina loss, but that's partly in the game's control, as always. 54% Doom, by the way, in our second mystery. But we have Recluse coming up, so I don't mind as much. We did lose Bath, though, so I'm kind of worried about my stamina. I'm really worried about my stamina. We don't get Restless, so... I do need to think about what I'm gonna do. I don't want to take Recluse 4th, though, which is what I would need to do if I don't want to rest. But I don't have Bath, either. So I guess we're gonna have to take a whole bunch of recent damage. We do have a Branch and Wooden Bat, but I don't know if that's enough. I guess we're about to find out. Police, Signal... We have the second encounter check. I completely forgot everything, by the way. No, just mysteries. And a lot of stat damage, but it's all about the mystery that we're planning to run into. I do have a lump of flesh, but I would like to not eat that if possible. So into Recluse we go. I guess we're taking Ward last. That's what I'm trying to say. Because we need Date to... I would like Date to be 4th. Might actually have to be 5th. But we'll see. Nice branded, by the way. But whatever. We'll read the letters, and we'll keep going. Yeah, I still want to save on as much reason as possible. Not doing so has normally led to bad things happening. That's all I need to say. That's all I can say, really. So we're actually going to use the stuffed toy to get rid of Branded. Suicidal, actually not so... in-game, the effect is not so bad, but... if you can get rid of it, it would absolutely help, but... Branded is by far the much more dangerous curse, in my opinion, so yeah. And again, for the curses, that scales off of how many procs that you think you're going to run into, both for Suicidal and for Branded. But for now, can we? I think we can. Yeah, we can save a turn here. So it would be great for me to throw the wooden bat, which should do 4 damage. That way we only take 3 reason damage here, and we move on with life. We have Mind Drain now, so that does make things a lot easier. We unfortunately have Fetid Fumes to combat that, but we're gonna keep trekking on. I can take Ward 4th. That might be a better idea, if only because I can proc a Doll Nurse. Let me take out the hospital. I think the hospital pass is in here, right? It is. So, all things considered, I should be able to survive. But since I'm stuck in the hospital, there are painkillers available. There are painkillers available. When do they get STE counter? Anywho. Yeah, into Ward we go. I think we're gonna do date last. Although, lore-wise, theoretically speaking, it could actually be... It's I assume, you know, if I were to get into the developer or designer mindset, game designer, game developer mindset, I would think that date is either the 3rd or 4th mystery in my little headcanon of what I believe is going on, but hey. I mean, if certain things didn't already clue me in, but I won't say too much about that because I don't want to spoil anything too much, and also it's speculation. I mean, a lot of things in World of War are speculation, but you know. You know what would be also be great? If my Doom could stay low, but I don't have control of that, so let's hope I survive. Buy a coffee, funny enough. I did want to grab a pack of cigarettes. That's not happening anymore. And we're gonna look to handcuff the boss here if we don't just straight up run from this. I can actually handcuff this, but at what cost? I don't think there's anything better I could do. No, I can't. While it would be nice, I don't think I actually can. This actually probably does more damage than the boss, so we're gonna run here. So it's the last night, and that means we definitely can't run here. But that would allow me to do a thing. 60%. Go for it. Alright, and now especially after throwing the branch, we should be okay. Yes. Now let's hope I handcuff correctly. Oh! Okay. I saw myself waver. I do have Mind Drain, but I usually like to use those things later. Nice time skip, by the way, and I think that was right into Roads Closed. Not that I don't think date takes us to anywhere weird, but let's hope I don't die in the middle of this, because that would be strange. But as we get into dismal detail of Deceitful Date, again, future Jordan will have to deal with the consequences and we'll go in. Although the investigation occupies most of the character's free time, he's aware that he still needs to keep up appearances. Part of keeping up appearances is making casual conversation with his neighbors in the apartment whenever he happens to run into them. For the most part, said conversations are surface-level exchange of social pleasantries, chatting about popular culture, recent news, failing utilities, and other harmless exchanges of that nature. But he's been encountering one neighbor particularly often as of late. Their name is Katsumi, and they seem interested in the character beyond what the social contract demands. The two even ended up having coffee together at one point during the weekend, since they both happened to be going out and happened to run into each other. So it doesn't come as too much of a surprise when one evening, during one of the chance encounters in the hall, Katsumi asks the character out on a proper date. He accepts this, grateful for an excuse to take time away from the investigation and act like a normal human for once. Maybe? After spending an hour or so preening in front of a mirror, pointing out the clothes, and doing makeup, the character heads to the restaurant he and Katsumi agreed upon, a sushi parlor, mercifully inexpensive due to its relatively out-of-the-way location. It's not like he's ever been on a date before, but so why is the character so nervous? I don't know, but I think we need to use the monument once before we do that, so off we go. Probably might die during this run, but we'll find out. What's love got to do with it? The reservation is already filled out by the time the character meets Katsumi at the redacted restaurant. The two of them exchange compliments on their respective carefully prepared looks before they're seated at a table and given a menu to peruse. Order the kappamaki. Ooh, very healthy choice that, Katsumi points out, referring to the choice. Rice and cucumber wrapped in nori. But I hope you're ordering that because you actually like it, not because you feel the need to show off your conscientious dieting decisions. Whoa, that's a pretty deep conclusion to draw. No, I just like the taste, the character says in response, causing Katsumi to chuckle and blush a little in turn, looking away bashfully. Sorry for making assumptions then. I just don't want you to feel like you have to impress me, you know? I promise I won't think less of you if you want to order something more substantial. I'm not trying to impress you, though. I just really like kappamaki, that's all, the character answers. Of course, only he knows the precise veracity of his own words. But that's just what someone who's trying to impress me would say, isn't it, Katsumi counters. They leave him to squirm for a moment before laughing and continuing. Just kidding. You do you, of course. There's something in my throat. Of course, I'll be expecting you to sample from my plate as well, Katsumi says, turning their eyes to the menu once more. Just as I'll be copying a kappamaki roll or two from yours. That's the sort of thing couples do, right? This observation is accompanied by an awkward chuckle. A nod silently. The both of them return to perusing their selective menus, with Katsumi apparently satisfied with his silent compliance. A waitress appears at the character's table, and both of them read out their orders, kappamaki for you, and spicy uramaki for Katsumi. Katsumi registers the character's surprise at the choice, and they blush slightly before answering. I just figured I'd step out of my comfort zone a bit. Plus, I'll be stealing from your plate, and I bet that cucumber will be fantastic after all the heat and spice. 8,000 Schofields. I don't actually know the value. The waitress then asks if she can start the character out with some drinks, beer. Yeah, I'll have a beer too, Katsumi says. Should help soothe my mouth after the spicy tuna. The character, Katsumi, and the waitress all share a polite chuckle from the quip. Their orders do not have quite the same fortuitous synergy, if I can speak correctly, but the character is looking forward to it all the same. The waitress fills out the respective orders and gives a polite bow after the character and Katsumi thank her. Once the menus are taken, he takes a look around the place. It's a cozy, mellow establishment. Not too many people, and with very traditional Japanese decor. Quite unlike the Gar style typical ever since the boom started. I don't know if I'm pronouncing things right. Not really my style, though. Katsumi chuckles nervously, blushing with embarrassment and looking away. Sorry. Would you have preferred something a bit more modern? The character shrugs non-committally. He's not even sure what his preferences are. This is the first time in years he's actually eaten out. The orders arrive after a short while, the waitress setting the character's kappamaki down in front of him and the spicy uramaki in front of Katsumi. The character can smell the chili sauce from here. The character splits his chopsticks and takes up one of the rolls delicately between the utensils before popping it into his mouth. The flavor is light, fresh, and simple, and even makes me behind the computer screen want sushi, just as the character would expect from a well-made kappamaki roll. It's not the same. The texture is half the appeal of such a meal. I don't know why I thought they were the same. With the chewy nori wrapping and soft, fluffy rice contrasting with the crispy, cool crunch of the cucumber. Ow, alliteration. Not incredibly exciting, to be fair, but far better than indulging in something greasy and heavy. Meanwhile, the character watches Katsumi struggle with their meal. By the way, do you notice that Doom and experience keep going up? That's on purpose, chasing each and every gulp with their drink and fanning themselves off. Ooh, they exhale. Face reddened from both the heat and embarrassment. Oops, was I? Okay, anyway. This stuff is really kicking my butt. It's not even the same as wasabi either. It attacks the tongue rather than the nose. You gonna be okay? Despite their apparent struggles, Katsumi flashes the character a grin and a thumbs up immediately after the question is rendered. Don't worry about me. And anyway, I don't regret this at all. This stuff tastes incredible. Can you see why people outside of Japan are so fond of it? They turn their attention back to you, and after another labored gulp of their meal, and the character. And you? How's the cucumber rolls? After the character communicates his satisfaction, Katsumi smiles and nods, pleased that he seems to be pleased. Say, do you happen to know why those cucumber rolls are known as kappamaki? Of course. They're named after Kappa, all caps, the water spirits of Japanese folklore. Cucumbers are their very favorite food, so it makes sense why these roles would be named after them. Your thorough answer only strengthens Katsumi's resolve to school you and the character. Still, Kappa are pretty dangerous creatures. Wander near their lakes and they'll drown you, or steal your Shiriko Dama 5 experience. Also, I should level up and get nothing for it, but hey. Despite the initial awkwardness of the date, the two become engrossed in discussion of the cult and supernatural. Who knew this would be a topic the characters shared in common? Katsumi's breadth of knowledge is impressive, and the two of them pick at one another's brains, each learning new things and picking up fascinating insights. My face in real life! The commonality the character shares with Katsumi creates an instant connection. Still, as much as the character wants to just relax and enjoy himself, he finds himself wondering how deep Katsumi's fixation goes. Is it a simple harmless interest or hobby? Or does it go deeper than that? How much does Katsumi know about what's happening in Shiokawa? Doom shoots up by 4%. Despite the lingering questions in the character's head, that was an incredibly pleasant evening and a much-needed change of pace. The both of them agree to another date at a later time, and the character ascends the elevator to his apartment with the butterflies in his stomach. It's nice feeling this way, feeling as if he has something and someone to look forward to. But I need to take another trip to the monument, because otherwise, Doom is a very, very real threat. Oh! My body! Hello, Yasui-san. I'd like to trade stamina for Doom. Thank you. What transpired last night was enough to sober the character up. Even if he's stepping away from the investigation, the madness doesn't rest for even a moment, and it constantly reminds him that he's not a moment to rest. He doesn't have a moment to rest either. The character can only hope nothing weird happens at school. So yes, let's grab this kendo helmet, put it on, and move on. Ah, my face! Ah! Figures that was too much to hope for, but the evening has come, the evening of the character's second date with Katsumi. Once again, he dolls himself up, taking extra care to hide the bags under his eyes. He looks like $1,000,000. This time, he's going for a movie date at Katsumi's apartment. The character brings wine, kakimochi, and most importantly, himself. In pain, reason under 10. Hey, gorgeous, Katsumi greets the character casually, one hand leaning on the doorframe and the other stuck in their pocket. The character wants to roll his eyes at such a cliched display of charisma and confidence, but instead, he finds his face heating up and his gaze unable to meet theirs. Oh, the spoon! Oh, failure. Don't get coy with me. I see that flush on your cheeks. Much to the character's chagrin? His attempts to play off his fluster have utterly failed. Katsumi smirks in triumph while he's left taking deep breaths to regain his composure and steady his shaking, sweaty hands and losing one reason in the process. After greetings are thusly exchanged, the two of them settle down into a couch and flip on a horror movie, naturally, given their shared interests. It's a ghost story with a surreal, grimy art house quality to it. A ghost named Hiroko haunts the protagonist after they inadvertently watch a cursed videotape, and thus are given 7 days to either spread the curse to someone else or die. Well, the character says, if I were the protagonist, I'd carry the salts on me at all times. That stuff is bane to ghosts, even powerful ones. Katsumi looks at the character, puzzled that salt isn't in the meta. Well, maybe in this world, but it doesn't work that way. Well, maybe in this world, it doesn't work that way, Katsumi points out, causing the heat in the character's face to flare up as he realizes his carelessness. He quickly makes the excuse that he's merely speaking in terms of common Japanese folklore, and Katsumi seems to accept it in their mind. As the character tries to compose himself after that embarrassment, he flinches and blushes deeper when he feels something brushing against his shoulder with probing movements. It's Katsumi's hand, and they're trying to sneak their arm around his shoulders as the both of them sit together. Well, time to lean into it and become lovey-dovey. Just the two of us. They can do things when things are tried. The character leans his weight into Katsumi, trying to relax as best as he can, but it's not something he can force himself to do. Something inside him is making his heart race, and his limbs ready to lash out at a moment's notice. Katsumi picks up on this and speaks, "Goodness! You're coiled so tightly it feels as though you might launch through the ceiling at any moment." Continue the event. Sorry, the character meekly apologizes. He really wish he could relax. He really wishes he could relax. He really wishes he wasn't such a nervous wreck. Hey, it's okay, Katsumi reassures him. I appreciate your trying it all. It's more than I could ask for, you know. So why are you so patient with me? Asks the character. Katsumi renders him a serene smile, reflecting complete forbearance toward his quirks and numerous red flags. Silly, I'm simply rendering you the same treatment I wish I'd be given, they answer. I'm not some ascetic saint who's bearing all of your woe as my own. I'm just a really lonely person who sees another really lonely person. That's absurd. How can someone so nice like Katsumi be lonely? They must have seen the concern in the character's eyes, because they quickly add, but it's fine, I've gotten used to loneliness, just like you have, haven't you? Me? Me, says the character. Yeah, I mean, with all the paranormal investigation stuff, how could they possibly know about that? It was easy to figure out, they clarify. I mean, I know we're all in a lot of danger, and the streets are full of monsters, and I know you sneak out of the apartments at odd hours and come back bloody and bruised and with a haunted expression on your face and tears in your eyes. Ain't nobody I watch as closely as I watch you. Katsumi inhales and exhales deeply, their heart pounding before continuing. That's not there, but you get what I mean. I feel so incredibly glad, knowing I'm not the only one in the city who realizes what's going on, that I'm not the only one who's on the side of humanity, and I admire you deeply, knowing what you're doing to fight back against the darkness. Like I said, I've seen that haunted look in your eyes. Are you okay? So if you didn't know, this right option here is locked out unless you have suicidal, which is normally a negative here, but here we can use it to say, I don't know if I can keep doing this. The character tries to open his mouth to answer, but the lump in his throat grows with each false start. Finally, his voice cracks as he manages to get a few words out. It's so hard. Sometimes, when I'm staring down one of those monsters, I just want to bare my neck to them and let them... There's just so much in my noise, Katsumi, and I just want to... Wow! Shh! Katsumi gently urges, taking his hand and intertwining their fingers with his. Their touch is soft, and its warmth is such that it flows down the character's wrist and nestles like a blanket around his rapidly thudding heart, and my rapidly missing air lungs in real life. The character's pulse slows and his breathing steadies, his vision sharpening as it focuses singularly on Katsumi's serenely smiling face. Baka. Ah! My face! Has it quieted down a bit? Katsumi asks, their voice calm and feather light, so much unlike the harsh cacophony that usually occupies the character's head. He nods weakly in affirmation. As the movie goes on, the two of them spend the rest of their evening holding hands like this, the precious silence shared between them broken only by the occasional harmless joke or light flirting. Sure you don't want me to walk you home? Katsumi teasingly asks, knowing the character's only a few doors down. The character chuckles politely at their quip before denying. He can't lie to himself, though. The thought of Katsumi being so concerned for his safety that they'd escort him to his doorstep definitely makes his heart flutter, especially given what they know about him and his lifestyle. Do this again sometime, the character says. You kidding me? Of course, Katsumi enthusiastically agrees. We didn't even open the wine, teehee. This weekend, then, the character proposes, Katsumi finding it an easy yes, both to spending another evening with him and hopefully getting wasted this time. In the game. The character can't help but smile as he makes the short trek back to his apartment. Never in his life would he have imagined he'd find, dare he thinks, love, and says, during the course of his investigation. And wonder of wonders, he may have found it with someone who knows exactly what's happening knows about what's happening in the city. Sorry for the narration. And is unfailingly, understandingly, and supportive of the character's efforts to stop it. To think, all of this resulting from a chance encounter in the halls. Wait! So both of them happen to just be out and about at the same time and just happen to be going out for coffee, and then they asked the character out because what? Because they're interested in him? And even more damningly, they know not only about the supernatural occurrences in Shiokawa, all caps, but his own investigation as well? Their fancy for the occult isn't some innocent fixation, they're involved in the darkness plaguing the city, some way, somehow. The character curses himself for letting his guard down this carelessly, What if Katsumi, or whatever their name is some kind of cultist? Or even worse, not even human at all. At all. At all. A ghost, or an eldritch shape changer of some kind. The character bets they could find a few that fit Katsumi's description if they read up on the subject. Gosh darn it. Baka, the character should have realized sooner. Katsumi is too nice, too understanding, too accommodating. He lets his, flares, attraction, flares up, thinking in their brain rather than their head and in their heart. This is all too perfect to be real, too happy. The character is too happy. Tomorrow, while Katsumi is away at work, he will find proof of their deception, and you get an unburdened heart clue. The character opened up to Katsumi, +2 reason. I think that's real. I keep not checking when I want to check. The character calls in a sick day at his school. It's not a complete lie anyway. Anyway, he does feel sick to his stomach. The butterflies in it have all dropped dead and are putrefying as we speak. Time to head to the hardware store. He'll be needing tools for what comes next. Yes, certain tools. But first, daily catch with the fisherman. 5 strength, yeah! It becomes increasingly clear what a bad idea it was to ever believe that the character could take a break from the investigation. He can't take a single step without being accosted by freaks. The darkness in Shiokawa stalks him every step of the way. And whether they know it or not, Katsumi is just another aspect of that darkness. Never again will a character show this kind of weakness? ? So we visit the shop. Help! It's Suta-chan. I think we survived this, right? Please tell me we survived this. Technically, yes. I could also mind drain, so let's do that instead. That seems to be the better option. 3 mind drains and then a big prep strong. You shouldn't use cursed scissors. I know, but it does so much damage. The character is at the lobby of his apartment complex, and he makes his way up to Katsumi's flat. One step at a time. Everything will make sense soon. Finally, he finds himself at the door to Katsumi's home. We need to do this again. Sure. We might need to do it again, but hey, I don't know if we have the time. Katsumi is at work right now. The character peers to the left and right. The hall is empty. He has all the time in the world to slip out in and out of their apartment with them none the wiser. Pick the lock and break in. And failing. Picking a lock is nothing like the movies. The character's fingers struggle and squirm as he tries to find some place he can leverage within the doorknob lock's interior. Half an hour of trial and error and the 2 broken picks later, the lock finally gives away. The character twists the knob and the door swings open and doom increases by 3. The entryway is plain on a door, save for a calendar and a box filled with loose change, keys of unknown utility, old business cards, and pens. Look at that calendar. Failing, perception, and more doom. The calendar is themed after high school imagery, this particular month illustrated by a girl in seifuku, tying her hair in a knot. Kinda weird for a working adult to have this as their calendar, but the character supposes high school must have been the best days of their life, as it seems to be the case with so many people in Japan, all caps. So into the living room we go. The living room. It's where the character spent most of the time in this place. Everything is as he remembers, albeit with a brighter lighting. What's out this window? Taxis, buses, and throngs of salarymen march about the streets below like emperor penguins. The city of Shiokawa, all caps, thrums with life ever since the economic boom began during the turn of the decade. The prosperous prospects faced by its population blinding them to the dangers within and without. Into the kitchen we go. The kitchen is utterly spotless, making the character feel somewhat self-conscious about the state of his own. Either Katsumi is a clean freak, or they simply don't use their kitchen. But what's in this fridge though? Nothing? Cool, stamina loss. As soon as the character pulls open the door, an utterly rank stench crashes into him. The fridge is filled with rotting meat, wilted vegetables, and spoiled milk. His eyes water and he clamps his hand over his mouth to keep the oof from escaping before swallowing it back down. The bowel burns though, and the door is slammed shut. Bye! So, this is Katsumi's bedroom. Posters and figurines line the walls and shelves, typical of a young working adult. Curiously, despite their affinity for horror and the occult, none of this is reflected in their choice of decor. If the character were less careful, he might have ended up in this bed, shivering at the thought. But first, this closet. The closet doors slide open for the characters per usual. Not mine, the characters. Various jackets, coats, and long-sleeved shirts are suspended from their hangers. Shoes are arranged on the shelf above, while the space below the hanging clothes is used for extra storage. What about these clothes? There's a good variety on display, with that knowledge check being successful, but during the 2 dates that the character's been on with Katsumi, he's only ever seen them wearing that black button-up shirt. Actually, thinking back over the past month, they've always been wearing that same shirt every time he ran into them in the halls, too. Anywho, back to this journal. The character slides open the dresser drawers and digs his hands through Katsumi's pants, underwear, and t-shirts, his face heating up a little as he does so. It's not being a pervert if he's looking for incriminating evidence, which is going to be a journal or diary. And incriminating evidence is exactly what he finds. His fingers brush against something hard, and he procures a simple faux leather-bound notebook from the cotton and polyester depths. Jackpot. The character flips open the book. On the first page is scrawled, Katsumi's diary, do not look, accompanied by various little drawings of angry faces and knives. This feels like a breach of privacy, not to mention trust. But these are bleak and desperate times, and trust is not a resource the character can spare. He takes a deep breath, prepares himself all over again for whatever truths lie within. February 20th, 1984. So yeah, a week after Valentine's Day, I've been telling myself I'd get one of these for a while, and I finally did! Miss Kuwahara from Channel 9 is where I got the idea. Who'd have thought I'd be the type to just listen to people from TV, right? But I really like her show, and what she said about keeping a diary really made sense. Helping me organize my thoughts and memories, but dairy milk would also be fine. Wind down after difficult days, and have someone to vent to that's not an actual human being, cause goodness knows they'd be exhausting for my coworkers. Actually, would it really be? If any of them wanted to talk about their problems, I would totally listen, 2 exclamation marks. It's better than being constipated all the time, I think, but what do I know? Nobody ever wants to talk to other people about anything real, and I don't know why. On the 27th of 1984, February, whoops! Owned this thing for an entire week, and I've only actually wrote in it once. Ha ha ha! Next page. If you skim the book, you essentially skip to the end. So, this is why I can't own a pet, Katsumi writes down, or even houseplants. Way too flighty and irresponsible and non-committable about everything. Well, today marks the day I'm going to change those things, 2 exclamation marks. Cacti, I gave ficus, all sorts of succulents I went and bought from the local nursery. Blah, my face. They're so pretty and cool looking. I'm going to take charge and water these babies every day, and also write something in my journal every day, even if it's just 1 sentence. That's how awesome the new Katsumi all caps is gonna be. 3 exclamation marks. February 28th, 1984. Operation New Katsumi is going strong, and so are my succulents. The nursery staff recommended these succulents because they're super hardy and not needy at all when it comes to caretaking, so that makes them perfect for me. The routine is really doing me some good as well. It's great to have a reason to get up in the morning besides work. When I was young, I wanted to be a writer, so getting my thoughts on this journal is kinda sort of fulfilling that dream too. Emoji. March 1st, 1984. Watered my plants today. Looking good. Also, rabbit. Emoji. That's a Yankee superstition. If you repeat the word rabbit on the first day of the month, it ensures good luck for the rest of it. March 2nd. Watered my plants and got letter extra work done. Go Katsumi. March 3rd. I am the blessed plant caretaker. NCE. Mr. Takahashi brought his son to work today. It's so weird thinking that most of the people in the office are married and even have children. Meanwhile, here I am with neither. Except my plant babies. Teehee. March 4th. Watered plants and did errands. Next page. The next week or so goes on like this, in parentheses, with most of the entries being 1 or 2 sentences of, I watered my plants and this thing happened at work, with slight variations thereof. March 13th. I don't understand. Wakaranai. Succulents are supposed to be hardier than most, and yet they're all dying anyway. They don't wilt like most plants do, but they're brown and stiff. I couldn't even take care of these. What's wrong with me? March 14th. Threw all the succulents into the garbage. What a waste of time. Don't know why I'm crying over plants of all things, but I am. On my way downstairs with the trash bag, I ran to my neighbor, character. They looked incredibly tired, but they must have noticed the state I was in and asked if I was okay. I didn't spill, but they looked like they actually meant it. It's the first time I can remember that someone has looked at me and didn't just see an inconvenience. It was enough to even lift my spirits a little. 17th of March. Sometimes I hear movement outside of my apartment door, but when I look out the people, there's no one there. Or sometimes there's someone there, but it's really dark and they're just standing there down the hallway. The company isn't taking my concerns seriously, but someone's out there. I know he is. Maybe I should ask Redacted about it. March 19th. It's hard to believe someone like the character is even real. Not only did they believe me when I told them about the stalker, but they took down notes and shared their thoughts on the matter without a hint of mocking or irony. It's like they're moonlighting as some kind of private investigator or superhero or something. I'm still scared about this whole situation, but it's also kind of exciting, knowing that someone like them seems to be on the case. This is also much more stimulating than taking care of those plants, and motivating. I'm looking to the side of me in real life and I see a dog. March 25th. The character and I have started talking regularly to exclamation marks since we're on the same floor and we leave our homes around the same time. We've been just chatting up on the way. They're the only person in this entire building that makes me feel like I'm not going crazy. First it was the stalker, then the weird noise in the pipes, and the sewer water backing up. The company called in utilities, but they said everything is in order. Total BS, there's something stuck in the pipes and they just don't want to bother taking care of it. 3 exclamation marks. And there was 4 earlier. March 27th. This city's been so weird lately. Inexplicable stuff keeps happening and nobody's acknowledging it. It's not like I'm not guilty of that either. My neighbors and coworkers talk about the same old things they always do. Music releases, celebrity news, television, and etc. I don't have the guts to actually speak up about anything real to any of these normies. Everything's the same as it's always been, and it makes me angry because I know something is changing, but I can't say it to anyone. March 31st. Does March have 31 days? I didn't know that. Actually, January. I'm in March right now, and yeah, it does. You know, I lied in that previous entry, Katsumi writes. There is someone I can talk up to about it. My neighbor! They're weird like me, and they realize something is going on. I wonder if it has to do with them always going out late at night. Their PI work on the side, or whatever their superhero job is. Understandably, they're super dodgy about the subject, but I want to know more. I want to help. I want to know what's going on in Shiokawa, all caps. And there has to be others as well. He and I can't be the only ones. April 3rd, so it's not a joke. Oh, I think I'm falling for the character, Katsumi writes. I'm falling for them and I'm hardly even a blip on their radar. I wake up in the morning and look forward to talking to them. At work, my mind wanders to them. I can't help it. They're the only persons besides this journal of mine I've been able to say anything genuine to. And the journal doesn't say anything back. But they do. Also, I think Doom is rising during this, so... Whoops! April 7, 1984. I'm going to do it. Hey, this Friday I'm going to ask them out. I've been agonizing over it and spouting every last possible excuse. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I don't even know if they swing that way, but I won't be able to live with myself if I don't try. They'll probably say no, but it won't be any worse than that because they're too kind and gentle. Day after tomorrow, April 9th. I'm going to take control of my life for real this time. The subsequent entries have no date markers. I did it! I finally did it! I am the human being known as Katsumi. It took forever, but it was worth it. Watching them, hiding him in the pipes, covered in filth, but I'm human! Popular, popular, popular! This is totally uncharted territory. I'm really human now. It really hurts so much, but there wasn't this sensory much. There wasn't this much sensory overload, even when I was a crow. Heck, I don't even know why I'm writing this down. Writing? When did I learn to do that? As soon as my bones started snapping into place, the first thing I did was dig this out of the jar and start writing. Why? Oh my god, this is so real! Oof. I don't know why it hurts so much. There's nothing defective with this body. I turned myself inside out and inspected every last cell and everything is fine. I mean, besides the liver, I guess, but try fighting a Japanese office worker with a fully functioning one. Teehee. But that doesn't account for whatever this is. It's burning in my chest and my heart is racing all the time. I feel like there was something I was supposed to do, but I don't remember what. It feels like I'm running from something or that I'm in imminent danger, but there's nothing there. I'm alone in the apartment. What's happening? Feelings? You know he's got a lot of feelings. I think I figured something out. Whenever I see the character in the holes and make polite conversation with them, the pain fades a bit. My heart is still racing out of my chest, but the character's presence soothes it. I had to look through the previous entries on this diary, and it cleared a lot of things up. I am in love with the character. I won't pretend to understand the mechanics behind it, but the results are undeniable. Pain relief and mental serenity. I have to go to work. I'll be thinking of the character. How do humans function when they're in this much pain all the time? Yeah, you tell me. It was so easy, writes Katsumi, question mark? I asked the character out and they said yes. What were you agonizing about the whole time, Katsumi? My heart is soaring, and I still haven't come down from the high. All we did is eat together at a restaurant. Granted, I didn't actually need to eat, but it's easy enough to replicate the physical illusion of doing so. Katsumi suspected that the character was some kind of PI, but it's obvious that they're actually some kind of occult vigilante. And it was super easy to leverage that too. Start yapping about supernatural critters, and all of a sudden I have their rapt attention. Their attention is so sweet, and I want more. Popular. The next couple of pages are stained and stiff with oof. The character's presence soothes the pain, but whenever that I'm not near them, it returns with a vengeance even sharper than before. Luckily, we have plans, but I cannot wait that long. Why did I use the robot voice? I found a way, though, because of the warmth. Oh yeah, future Jordan, help! Oh, Katsumi, I understand why you are so afraid now. It hurts so much I want to die. My fingers, and my leg. Can you feel this? My fingers. I'm scared. Help! Craziness! Jordan, help! Nothing's really bad that needs to be censored, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. You know, because you play the mod and you have fun. Because we're gonna jump into another parallel timeline because this is the end of this run. So Katsumi continues writing coherently on the next page. We arranged for a third date this weekend. Everything is going to be fine now. They won't leave me. They won't. Went to work and watered plants. They're still healthy and strong. Woohoo! Emote. There are no more entries after this. In summary, the character's neighbor Katsumi had a massive crush on him and is now presumed dead. The creature pretending to be Katsumi inherited their memories and feelings. Its love for them, or what it thinks it's love for them, shoots past obsessive and straight into delusional. The character doesn't know what its plans are for the upcoming date, but it feels anything but safe and wholesome. With shaky hands, knees weak, the character returns the journal to their place and steadies their arms inside the dresser drawer before swiftly booking it out of the place, locking the front door behind him. He needs to prepare himself for the weekend, come what may. As we get the diary, proof of deception. And into another timeline we go! And with a bit of time-traveling jumping and a weird ritual, we are now back in the run with 2 SDE counter this time. The evening has come for the character's third date with Katsumi. He pretties himself up in the usual fashion, proceeding on autopilot as his head swims with doubt and confusion. His paranoia is at once his greatest enemy and his only ally. The character stares at his pallid, haunted visage in the mirror. He knows not what's going to happen tonight. He can only trust in his survival instincts and whatever future Jordan has to do here in editing. But hey, as Katsumi says, hey there. They greet him at the character at the door to their apartment with none of the effortless charm they displayed in his last date. Their chest rises and falls with nervous breaths, and a bead of sweat trickles down their flushed cheek. Something has clearly changed. Hey, babe. The character awkwardly sputters out an affectionate pet name, hoping it'd ease Katsumi's nerves somewhat, though the outrageously cringy timing and delivery only aggravates the characters. Luckily, Katsumi doesn't seem to mind and takes his hand into theirs. Before a kiss, hey, kissing, and muffled oofs of surprise. This is a post-edit song because future Jordan needs to do this for safety and cowardice reasons, bum. Once their lips separate, Katsumi grabs tightly onto his wrist and practically drags the character inside, not bothering to close the door behind him. They lead him past the living room and straight into the bedroom, not speaking a word, but where they've chosen to take the character leaves little doubt. What's gotten into you? The character's words do nothing to dissuade them. Once the two of them are inside, Katsumi... And yeah, Jordan, I don't know what you're gonna do. Yeah, you're out of bed, and things are happening, and it's not bad yet, so that's why the character can just study the expression and fail the charisma check. That's a charisma check? Why did I forget that? You see that in their eye, in Katsumi's eyes, it's, yeah, there's a lot of feelings going on. Whatever it is, the character is also confused, but then you also lose 2 reason. Katsumi fidgets uncomfortably as they loom above the character, seemingly paralyzed by his own inaction, unknowing whether they should take things further or not. Do you prefer boys or girls? Katsumi asks. What? I know it seems random, they acknowledge with a nervous chuckle and a shake of their head, but please, I have to know, right now. Do you prefer boys or girls? You, the character says. A faint blush appears on Katsumi's cheeks for a moment, before they shake their head and continue pressing the matter. That's unbelievably sweet of you to say, but everyone has their preferences. Do you prefer boys or girls? I know what you are, says the character, whispers the character. Katsumi freezes up, their face going pale as the character describes what paranormal investigators call a skin taker, or a butterfly, either or, and the diary that the character found in the very bedroom that they're in. Panic takes hold of Katsumi as they believe they're about to lose everything. And yet, the character interjects, here I am. Here, in the room. Hey Jordan, what are you gonna do? Is that not proof enough? The character continues, it truly doesn't matter what you are. Katsumi's chest heaves as tears begin to stream down their cheeks, a cleansing river that carries an unfathomable amount of guilt, pressure, insecurity, and fear. You know what I am. You know what I did to Katsumi, and yet you'd still choose to be here? And why not? Asks the character. You're the first person I've told about myself. You're the first person I've told about my self-destructive thoughts, the character confesses in-game. This is all happening in-game. Please do not emulate any of what you see in real life. And you responded not with fear or revulsion, but by holding my hand and making the noise, capital, quiet down. A lot of noise. That wasn't you lying or being manipulative. That came from a place deep inside of your chest. Katsumi is so overcome with emotion at this moment that they can't reply with coherent words. So instead, Jordan censors the screen, and nothing too bad is happening. It's part of the story, and we're gonna move on. I don't know how big the censor bunny is gonna be, but it's gonna be pretty big as things are happening on screen. And yeah, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna continue moving on because the character sees the real Katsumi for the first time. But nothing actually happens. They stare into each other's eyes, and the character sees the soul of a rat who outran an osprey. Osprey? O-S-P-R-E-Y, because the screen's probably censored. A crow who blended in with its own kind, a roach who scavenged for scraps between the floorboards, and a human falling in love for the first time. The character says, "You're beautiful," and we continue the event. And we get an ally for this. Funny enough, the past 3 times I did this, I got Hermit 3 times in a row. Now I got someone else, because that makes sense. I need 10 seconds of because why did I say what I said in the moment of the recording? This is why I probably shouldn't be streaming this, but hey, it's good content, so do what I need. And you get an ally / something changed. And yeah, we'll keep moving on. And yeah, there's probably a censor bunny on the screen. But I will still narrate. I'm going to disappear for a while, Katsumi whispers. I have some loose ends what need tying up. I'm moving the mouse as if you can see. You probably can't. Worry not, my sweet thing. I think you'll find Shiokawa to be a safer place when I'm done. The character finds himself wondering what sort of loose ends, quote-unquote, a skin taker has left in this city. But his thoughts are hazy and nebulous. And sure enough, when the character wakes up in the next morning, they're gone. Katsumi is gone with nary a trace, save for a page torn from their diary, which simply reads 3 words: "Wait for me." The character finds this to be a reasonable arrangement as he cleanses himself in what was once Katsumi's shower. Life goes on in Shiokawa. The threat of the old god looms large, cultists and monsters lurk in the streets, and Katsumi is but the latest in the slew of missing persons reports that circulate the Shiokawa Shinbun and the local news. That's newspaper. But your heart feels light nonetheless. Perhaps it's because the future holds, I hope that's right anyway, holds aught more than darkness and death. Perhaps it is because existence, quote unquote, is no longer the only thing that the character is fighting for. That's sweet and all, but I don't know if future Jordan will be censoring and how much they will be, so even this might not be, but we'll see. And one day on the way back from school, the character feels a pair of arms circle around his waist from behind. When he turns his head, he finds their face to be faintly familiar and their touch intimately so. Hello there, hello there. Wanna watch a movie? There's this Yankee flick called, I don't know if I'm gonna be pronouncing this right, but S.A. Sing. And we get a new spell because perks. Once the old god and its cultists have been dealt with, the character should make time for Katsumi. Hey, ending A. It'll make a great story. And yeah, we'll move on. So yeah, future Jordan, whatever you decide to do, you're gonna do it. And you know, nothing is explicit. It's all in story, and it actually is a really great mystery. But I have to be safe because I'm a coward, I guess. So away we go. I have 9 max reason, right? Tell me I still have the painkillers? I do. Do I have Takushi-san is the other question. No, but we have a second encounter check, so I'm gonna pull out this crestfallen mask that I, magically have from the Aether, and we will move up to the lighthouse and get our happy ending, question mark. Look at our ally friend, question mark, again. Funny enough, I don't think I actually fought anything. Yeah, I didn't fight a lot, so it's harder for me to remember. Oh, and then we get a crash. Oh, not if the old gods have something to say about it. I'm pretty sure this is a crestfallen mask asset. Either for some reason the image is not there, I haven't checked, or there's a linking problem. It's one of the two, but I'll show you the thingy just to be sure, because that's a funny way to end this video. Anywho, let me just make sure I have the thing. Not that, this. I don't know if that's going to appear, though. It is going to appear. So, we're going to transition here. And, yeah, we're going to leave on this. So, just to show. And I will, it's been nice. It's been nice. I will plan to still do things myself. But if you are, if you're interested in this channel and want to support me at any length, please let me know. And that would be very great. Otherwise, I'll leave you at this, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.